All right. Let's see if we can get some volume going here. How's everyone doing today? I hope there are some people here. I know we have one. Hey, Bang Chief, salute. How you been? Hope you're doing well. Now, on my broadcast, you can see this is kind of just the just chatting part. I'm trying to get squared away. You can see a picture of the drone there. Um, we're going to talk about that today because I'm going to be honest with you. I had what I'd done was to practice VTOL, and I think this was a mistake of mine. And I had added another mixer profile to the video, so I'm kind of waiting for people to mosey on in and take a look. So I'm going to kind of try and talk about it a little bit. So I had added another mixer profile to this for wing mode, but it was more of custom. Well, no, I put it in plane mode, and then all four engines would be the differential thrust in a sense. So you'd have your pitch, your yaw, and your bank on those same engines that transitioned it from drone to forward flight. Now, I'm not an INAV expert by any means, and that'll become very apparent here shortly. But I honestly, I couldn't believe what it was doing. I'm seriously thinking about, because I see a lot of Joshua Bardwell's videos, and he does a lot of stuff, but it's usually through Betaflight. I haven't, or I haven't found any stuff that, or a lot of stuff that he's done on iNav, as far as a configurator is concerned. But I blame today on, well, me, for one, but also this. The controller is great. I mean, I don't lose signal. I don't lose, all kinds of stuff. I've lost signal once, but that was because of the receiver that I was using was actually not a very good receiver. So I switched to this receiver, and you're about to see how durable this receiver is. But they put, what it is I have a mixer profile button here that's set, and I've set it to this button here. So you go up one and you're in plane mode, down is in drone mode. This is a navigation. Well, I assigned it to a navigation waypoint, so I could click it in. The problem is it's a momentary switch, so if you don't click it all the way down, it doesn't stay sometimes. You see? So it can interrupt whatever you're doing, but still confuse the controller enough to where it freaks out completely. So you have to like hold it and then make sure that it's stayed in the downward position. This one works fine. Haven't had problems with this one. But this one sort of like sometimes it won't. Now it'll stay, you see. And one of the main things I did is I had in drone mode, I had it's in the down position on the mixer profile. So I set up a mixer, two mixer profiles and a mixer transition, which I set on this switch. And then at the top of this switch, which is probably never a good idea, I put return to home. So that aside, I don't know what happened because I had it in drone mode. Never even got to switch it to plane mode. And then, of course, you've got this momentary switch. So if you're going over to hit this switch, you might accidentally hit this button, depending on whatever you've got on this, whether it be a kill switch or a navigation button or a return to home or whatever. And it's going to interrupt whatever the drone's doing. So this is kind of a poor design. I would have rather had a metal switch all the way across. And now I know exactly what Josh Bardwell was saying on his channel. And that was that this is a good radio. It's a great ELRS receiver or transmitter, but it's just the buttons. I think I'm going to Radio Master because of Joshua Bardwell. Now, the other question I have is is for what I'm doing, is iNav going to be better, or is Betaflight going to be better? And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video here in just a minute, and I have two of them because you'll see what happens in the first video, and then the second video I just kind of hammer this drone to death. So yeah, I mean, I'm reprinting some stuff, so I think that's gonna have to end up happening right now, because that was probably the worst possible thing to happen to. I could not understand why it was doing this, and it may have had a lot to do with the fact that I was asking Chat GPT about iNav settings, and of course it's 2 years behind unless you're like on Pro. But even then, I don't even know if the language model's caught up to the current version of iNav. So that didn't work out too well. It did in the beginning when you were just doing drone. As a matter of fact, it was very informative when it came to giving me PID settings for that. But something happened. I'm just gonna play the video. You get to see my overweight, balding face here for a second, and then okay, I'm 6'4" and 300. Not that bad. All right. And my son is actually like 6'5", 6'6", almost taller than that. So basically, like on the last video, when the drone flew over my head, he had to duck to get under it. But the airfoils were working okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. I've got a couple of viewers here. I was hoping there'd be more, and I may just kind of go into Premiere later on and kind of post another video of this just to kind of show what happened. But I wanted to go on live for the people who are interested, because the people who really are interested will more than likely be here unless there's time constraints or they're not home from work or whatnot. But they'll see it later, I'm sure, if they do go back and watch the live. And then I'll have another live event later on where we discuss some more things, because I'm doing an X-Wing remake, and I think I'm going to do it with 90mm motors rather than the 70s, because the hardware that I have can handle the 90s. And the great part about this is except for one fan blade, all the hardware survived, all the electronic hardware. Because I have fans laying around all over the place over there, and motor casings and whatnot. So let's go ahead and play this first video. This is me talking about what happened and then not understanding what happened afterwards. So okay. We are going to test another set of airfoils, and the wind is cooperating. Let me know if you can hear the audio. Okay. Than it was the last time I did this. So cross your fingers. I may not try my plane mode until after I get a few good passes in. I'm seriously afraid of what's going to happen when I do that. Yeah, this is horribly done. Let's do some test flights with these new airfoils. Yeah, I had different airfoils on because the other ones broke off on the last video. And then I'm like, what's going on? Right. Okay. They can hear it beeping, but the motors are still armed. Hold on a second. And now it's making some other weird noises. Almost a good beat. What are you doing? Right? Now the beat's picking up. Are you serious? How did it get switched into return to... Wow. Okay, well, we're going to fly it again anyway. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to wait till it arms. Pause it for a second. Okay, so on that one, that's what you see. And then I don't know what happened. I took off in drone mode and it just lost its mind. I could not figure out what was going on. It completely lost its mind. So And all I can think of is that maybe when I set the angle modes, I may have somehow inadvertently put both of the transitions on the same switch. I don't know. I'm gonna have to plug in the controller. The black box logging would definitely help. I have it activated. It is logging files, but I don't know how to decrypt them so that I can read them. So I could find out exactly what happened. So if anybody out there knows, anybody knows how to read these log files, that'd be great. I'll be doing some research today on that to see how I can actually access these black box files. So so here's the second video right now where I just go ahead and I just say, you know what, I'm okay, this one's done. I'm gonna keep going. I want to see what it can handle.
Okay, I honestly don't know what that was, but we're gonna see if it'll take off smoothly.
And you can see it's trying to do something, and it did the same thing again. And here I'm like knocking off pieces left and right. It's like,
I don't know what it's doing or what I have done in iNav.
see right there, I was like, I knew I did it. At one point I just get set up and I'm like, okay, well, let's try this switch. Let's try this switch.
I got some switches mixed up or something.
It's funny to watch, it really is. I'm gonna be honest with you. Right now here, I don't know what it's doing. I think I was trying to get it to maybe possibly go into
there is something.
Oh, the navigation mode.
Between the last flight and this one.
Yeah, one of the motors kept acting. I felt like maybe that rear left motor was giving me the issue after the iNav.
I think I screwed something up in iNav.
Yeah, after the iNav modification.
See, it's going into safe mode. I don't know what is going on. Let's take it out of act.
And I'm not exactly sure what was going on with the switches either. Like, when something happened, that was right on top of the receiver too.
So
there's like dirt everywhere on this thing
last
right now.
time and this time.
And at this point, I'm
done
like,
something in iNav. I don't know what.
well, at this point, I just decided I'm just gonna hammer the crap out of it. See, this is the navigation button right here. That was Vance Bronco. Drone Bronco. That's a good one. That's the name of this video. Courtesy of Bang Chief. It's gonna be Drone Bronco. Look, it just kept doing the same thing over and over again. I was like,
I don't know what it's doing.
I thought maybe it was a gyro malfunction or something, but you guys have seen this drone fly, so right, it was definitely an iNav mixer
You
transition
see how it protects the gear?
because in
Pretty much everything's still working.
yeah, the gear still works. Even now, all the gear still works. Okay, what am I doing? Am I set up yet? Watching it flop around like that, it's
Okay,
funny,
looks
but
like
it
we're gonna
gets
have to
you
go back to
right here.
reprinting a few
Because you
things
put so much, yeah,
and,
reprinting.
Figure out what I did in iNav, because I have my arm here.
I'm sitting here trying to figure stuff
This
out.
is my
He's filming the drone, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at my switches,
bank
going,
hold,
what did I do wrong?
and then I added a different. I added plane mode in here, but it's on a switch, so it shouldn't have affected the other, or it shouldn't have affected drone mode. So I'm not exactly sure.
So
why.
so
let's
basically the
find
concept
out.
was that it was supposed
Get
to,
home, we'll find
in
out, but let's
plane
see if I
mode
can get
with the
twisted.
airfoils, the idea was I was going to go up high enough, bank forward, put it in plane mode, it should have pitched forward 90. And then I was going to try it that way. What I should have done is just held it in drone mode, not worried about plane mode, and just kept the pitch at 90. Pieces just flying off everywhere. It's so much fun to watch. It really is. Because I know I can just reprint this in a couple of days and be
Return to
done.
home mode, which is weird.
But I'm gonna make some changes though.
Going.
Just a few small changes to accommodate the hardware. That's when I decided I was just gonna throttle up and see what it did.
To show you the durability.
There's more
of the drone,
pieces.
right? Let's
Just
keep-
like coming up. I'm like pointing at the screen, like you can see me pointing at the screen. Oh my gosh,
That's
this
just
was so
gonna hang
funny.
there. So let's keep going.
Okay, let's. What am I doing now?
Straight up
What am I doing
through
now?
Now, I slammed that hard.
Look at the battery.
Little arm. Oh,
The
I got a
battery.
blade gone.
Stick it out of the back.
There's a blade gone.
The blade's completely gone on this one. And I'm like still trying to fly it. I'm like, I'll just pitch back into the right. It'll still take off.
So,
Man.
my bad. Holy crap. So I busted up
Yeah,
that
full
engine.
send
Where's
was
the
right.
blade? It's just gone. There's pieces of it everywhere. Oh, but it goes to show that it's a durable frame, even when you screw a bi-nav royally. Until next time.
So that's basically all that happened to that. And as you can see from the image, all of the main flight hardware is totally fine. I have another fan and another engine housing. If you look down the bottom right hand side of the picture, you can see that engine with the blade that's gone. I have extra blades. I have a magnetic balancer, so I shouldn't have a problem with that. I did crack that black casing around there. So, but I have 4 more, so it's not like it's going to cause a major issue. So the next print, I'm going to make some modifications to make some more room for the ESC, so I can make the dome a little bit smaller on the top. And I'm going to add some snap-on tabs so that I can go ahead and get, make it to where I can snap it on and off easily, as opposed to dabs of CA glue. But that's what prototyping is all about. I do have room to get those. I had no idea beforehand that those ESCs were so small. So I have room in the body to put the ESCs down into, but allow the capacitors to stick up with a cage around them to keep them safe, but to also let them cool quicker. Plus the wind going through the front of the drone with the holes that are already there. I'm basically just going to slot the ESC down in there and have the capacitor out the top so it can vent some heat as it's flying forward. So that's going to be the main plan on that. And then I'm going to reprint this. I have a beautiful carbon fiber burgundy red. Who's up for burgundy red? Does burgundy red sound good? Carbon fiber burgundy red, and it prints out really well because you almost see no layer lines in it at all. Now I am, to my dismay, printing with a 0.6 millimeter nozzle at this point because I wanted to try that out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in one of my engine nacelles and I'm going to print it with that 0.6 millimeter nozzle because I think that'll give me a thicker wall, more print time. This is a prototype, so all my VTX 1800 is burgundy red. Oh yeah, so that's a good color. See, Bang Chief, we're sinking. We're syncing up, man. That's what it's about. But I hope everyone enjoyed those videos. That was just too funny. And what I'll do is I'll play before I head out of here, just in case somebody jumps in. I'll play it again. I'll play the We'll do the first one and the second one. We'll do them back to back. We'll watch it again, just to see what happens. And I'll try and fast forward past my talking and just get to where this thing screwed up, because we have some people coming in. So let's check. Let's see. Let's go. Let's do it again.
Okay.
All right. Let me get past me talking here. Talking about INAV.
When I do that.
I don't like INAV anymore. Where's the Bronco? Drone Bronco. That's one way to move dirt. I'll tell you that right now. Definitely one way to move dirt. Can I fast forward? Oh wait. No, that was backwards. Well, that's interesting. Okay, well that's where the first one screwed up, so let's do the second one, because this is when I decide to hammer the crap out of it.
Hey, I honestly don't know what that was.
Yes, we know. Just fly.
I don't know what it's doing or what I have done in INAV. But
just watching this thing. Okay, fast.
I've got some switches mixed up or something.
Okay, that's right. Let's go. It's just like it's going. Help me!
They're wrong. Between the left.
Come on. Let's just do it again.
Not too sure why it's doing that wobbly stuff. All right.
The wobbly stuff.
I think I screwed something up in INAV.
Made a gummy drone. Yeah, I don't know what it was doing, man.
Like this.
I have no idea.
See, it's going into safe mode. I don't know what is going on. Let's take it out of put it in acro. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, this one I started to put it in acro mode.
Nope.
So obviously the two rear motors were doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing, because I went straight up into acro mode.
Between last time and this time.
Come on, let's keep going. Let's keep going. People want to see. Crashes in the wreck. And I get totally fed up. And I just hammer it. Not here. We haven't lost quite enough pieces yet. We're getting there. It's just hanging off the edge there, or off the back. I tried to pull it off, but it wouldn't come off. So I was just like, screw it, do it there.
What it's doing that for?
I think this is where I did it. No, not that one. Arm it. I think I just punched it at one point. No, I do, but I'm trying to figure out where.
Okay, well, it looks like reprinting it. Did it not
Okay,
here.
stop talking about it. Stop talking about it.
Null out.
We're gonna see the tragedy. I don't want to do this. Just clearing the dirt. Don't mind me.
But you can see now it's in return to home mode, which is weird. Keep going.
Oh, well, let's keep going. Like it's gonna get me better somehow.
It's to show you the durability of the drone, right? Let's keep. Oh, that's just gonna hang there. So let's
I guess
keep
this is
going.
part of the fun of it, all right?
All right, we're gonna go straight up, see what happens.
Swear I should enter this drone into a diving team.
Hard.
That was perfect.
Little arm.
I'm seeing. Look at the battery. I love that battery sticking out the front.
There's a blade gone. Will it fly?
Yeah, and that thing exploded. And I'm sitting here trying to fly like it's gonna take off. But in the end, the ESCs, everything survived. The ESCs, the power distribution board, the flight controller, none of the capacitors had any damage or overheating issues whatsoever. This was strictly programming, my programming. But I had everything going just fine beforehand because you'd seen me fly it with, did the maiden and then I did the airfoil test. And I think iNav has been difficult to find a lot of data on. So, and what I noticed in a lot of Joshua Bardwell's videos, like I said before, was he works a lot with Betaflight. And since the wing, the SpeedyBee F405 wing, is the same, it's run by Betaflight. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go with Betaflight this time and see if I get any more stability. I'll have to reflash it. So I assume if I go into iNav, which is weird because you almost have to, I haven't done it in Betaflight yet, but if you go into iNav, you can flash the SpeedyBee firmware from there straight to the SpeedyBee F405 wing, and it'll work. So so we're gonna do burgundy red, whole thing. I'm gonna have to put some markers in the front, probably just stickers or something, just so I know where the front is. I really want to get a camera for this, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what camera to use within my price range. It's going to be, decent. Plus, I'm going to have the goggles. So I've got to get goggles. I got to get a cam so that I can get some onboard video, because that would be really, really neat to get some onboard stuff. And that's one of my goals for the future. So I'm going to reprint this. Like I said, I'm going to do it in 06. On the nozzle end on the Bamboo Lab, or the X1 carbon, and then I'm going to use the carbon fiber burgundy red, and I may change the infill. I want to see what the strength difference is, because with the 0.4 nozzle, I was having to print roughly 2 or 3 walls just to for rigidity, so I didn't have to do too much of an infill, just more of a structural infill. Nothing that could, and then you could see the drone is fairly durable even with standard, matte PLAs. But I'm definitely going to go ahead and go with the burgundy red and see what I can do with that 06. I'll be test printing the burgundy red on one of the nacelles while I'm making the changes in Fusion 360 on the body to accommodate the hardware a little bit better, and then we'll go from there. I'm surprised that battery didn't pop, to be honest with you. Just get slammed right through the front of the drone like that. I was expecting it took very little damage, if any at all, and it's just from the plastic wrap that goes around the cords. That just a little bit of that shrink wrap that goes around the whole battery is just slightly ripped, and everything's covered in dirt. But other than that, the flight controller, the ESCs, the power distribution board, the ELRS receiver, even the little plug, the C-type plug that goes, into the computer from the flight controller, all works perfectly. RIP one fan blade, but that's okay. I will replace it. I have plenty. I was expecting to fly today, and technically I did. I just didn't know how you would classify that flight. Not a failure. They did learn something from it, for sure. I learned to stay away from mixer transitions. because the mixer transition works for the motors. They're assuming you're banking the motors forward in plane mode. And I was banking the entire drone, but the problem is you can't. The only thing that doesn't cross mixer transitions, is flight controller orientation. So if your flight controller is oriented, straight up and down, forward, back, left, right, so forth. This is an iNav. Even if you switch to plane mode, it's still going to be in that orientation. It's still going to be in that orientation. You can't make this the new, the top forward when you bank or when you pitch forward 90 degrees. You can't make that the new forward on the flight controller. Even though you can reorient it, it's basically reoriented through any of the mixer profiles. So had I known that at the time, I probably would have just kept the bank angle mode on and then just put the forward pitch at 90. I had it at 70 today. And that was for the purpose of pushing those airfoils and seeing what I could do. But that obviously didn't work out. So realistically, I think at this point, I'm just going to keep the... I have an idea, a crazy idea, to do this. To keep the flight controller in its orientation and still be able to servo the motors forward, but not... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it yet. I want you to see it. I think it'll be a cool surprise. And that's going to help dramatically with the X-Wing profile or the X-Wing that I'm printing from Star Wars. So we know the drone concept works. And at one point I was looking at I'm still working on the Cuddy Black and from Star Citizen. That'll be flying as soon as I've got to order a lot of PLA. This thing prints like crazy. And when it does a transition in color, it has to purge, but it purges a lot of material. So, and then of course you've got the tree supports and stuff like that. So there's still, you go through a lot of PLA or a lot of printer filament in general. Yeah, it's true. I did fly. It was in circles. And this was the Olympic diving version of the drone flights today. So it is what it is. So, okay, so that's the plan. Thank you, Chief. Your R&D design in the planes department. Talk to the manager. Well, I don't know who that would be. No, I guess since I kicked myself a lot for some of these mistakes, I must be the management. Right? What? It is what it is. Okay, so moving forward. Burgundy red, carbon fiber. I'll start in the cell now in the 06. See how that goes. And we're going to switch to Betaflight. And I'm going to check out, and I'm going to try and figure out how to read black box logs, because this is going to be really cool. Especially when it tries to recreate the flight based on the data. Can you imagine what that would look like on the map? Just these flips in one spot. But that's what we're going to do. So same hardware, which is a APD 500 amp power distribution board, SpeeDB, F405 wing, APP flight controller, a Radio Master, EV3, EVP version 3, EVP3, EV3. It's one of those. It's 2.4 gigahertz. And I have the Commando 8 version 2 and 2.4 gigahertz ELRS. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run with the same hardware. Oh, I do have an M10 V2 mini GPS controller. I put that on there for the sole purpose of just playing around with navigation. So I could probably leave it off if I want to just do R&D, you know. So that's, I think, what we're going to do. So same board. Oh, ESCs are those iFlights I was telling you about. Those iFlights, the Blitz E80s. Those are some killer ESCs. I love them. Yeah, you get to watch me rebuild it. That's for sure. And this printer's a lot quieter, so you don't have to worry about it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the fun part, building it again, making modifications, doing some builds, putting it back in the air, and praying that my motors are still good, which they are, I'm sure. But I may have to blow some dust out of them. But now you know why I had that hood on the top of the drone. See, if I would have done all that without that protective cover, that would have been it for my hardware. I mean, even though the system itself is actually pretty rigid, the last thing I wanted to do was bend up a bunch of pins again. And it was just, I didn't want to go through that. So I printed up a hood. I really didn't, it was kind of a last minute thing. So I kind of just printed it out, put it on there, and then kind of tack welded it with some CA glue. Because my receiver and everything and my plug were on the outside of that. So that receiver, that Radio Master receiver, took a pretty decent beating and still was holding on. So that was good. I wasn't losing signal or anything like that. But hopefully I didn't ruin the flight controller with the shock and everything like that. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm going to use all the same hardware. And then we'll see if it... And then I'm going to go into beta flight. I'm going to make sure it's flashed with regular drone, whatever I'm supposed to put on there. Whatever firmware. I'm going to do the research, put it on there. And then we're just going to go right back into it. If you build it, they will come. That's true. That's true, Banji. And that's what I'm doing. So stay tuned. I'll either put up the highlights of this video just kind of like as a comedy reel. But realistically, I think, it's going to be a short video just for fun. But stay tuned for the new drone, because we're going to have a beautiful burgundy red carbon fiber drone and some dusty hardware. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it, and hope to see you again real soon. Hey, Bank Chief, you too. And you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. She'll be easy. For me. All right, everybody. Glad you enjoyed it. Have a good one.